Welcome to Heart on the Table, a tarot-inspired podcast for mothers, healers, and humans in the messy middle of becoming.
Two therapists, two moms, one card at a time.
Every other week, we pull a tarot or oracle card
and explore its symbolism through the lenses of trauma healing, attachment theory, motherhood, and intuitive wisdom.
Together, we weave our clinical therapy knowledge
with personal connections to motherhood, spirituality, magic, and womanhood.
Reflecting on what it means to mother yourself and others
across timelines, triggers, and transformations.
I'm Bree Levitt, licensed clinical social worker.
And I'm Miranda Peterson, licensed clinical social worker.
It's part sacred space,
part cozy couch chat.
Expect laughter, insight, and a whole lot of heart. Welcome back to Heart on the Table. Thanks so much for listening to our last episode on exhaustion.
We really put a lot of thought into that one, just as it seems to be a common theme we're all going through. So if you listened to that episode and you found that it resonated, feel free to share with someone else who might also resonate with it. We're hoping to grow this little community this year, and we are jumping off today's episode with our first special guest of the year.
Wow, I feel privileged.
I will introduce our special guest today. I'm like getting emotional already. I just love you. Lindsay Coultas is a postpartum nurse, graduate student, and mom of 4 boys ages 6 to 21, which means she hasn't slept consistently in over 2 decades. She's been married for 13 years to an active duty Army medic, and after moving their family across Germany, Alaska, and Texas, they've landed in a season that looks different than expected. She's the working mom, he's the retired stay-at-home dad, and together they homeschool their 2 youngest kids. Lindsay works in postpartum care while earning her master's degree and balancing 3 jobs, quietly plotting future entrepreneurial ventures along the way. Much of her work centers on helping families navigate what comes next when birth doesn't go according to plan, and the emotions that don't neatly wrap up at discharge. Outside of work, Lindsay is in a very real season of growth, therapy, spirituality, discovering new talents, and organizing anything that will sit still long enough. She loves thrifting for antiques she absolutely does not need, thinking she might become an interior designer in another life. She also spends an unreasonable amount of time learning about skincare, color seasons, and collecting animals for the imaginary homestead she is apparently building in her backyard. Because personal development apparently comes in many forms. Before we dive into the interview, as far as homesteading goes, what does that look like for you? I'm just curious.
Well, it started with quail.
Okay, the quail.
Yes. It started with quail. I found my husband jokingly sent me some quail, I think. He was like, hey, we should get these. And then, of course, I research everything. I looked into it and I'm like, you can get eggs to eat. They taste like chicken eggs. They're quieter. They don't require as much space. And I'm like, let's do it. He goes, oh, I was just joking. And I was like, no, it's a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah. And you're like, were you really just joking?
Right.
Obviously, there's some intention behind check this out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. You have mentioned quail eggs to me so many times, but I still have yet to receive quail eggs.
Oh my gosh, why didn't I bring any?
I just thought about that, which is funny because this morning I was going to bring Miranda some sourdough starter. So I feel like we've really got the homestead thing going on here.
Exactly.
Okay, so on the list, I need quail eggs from you eventually. Yes. You need sourdough starter from me. Do you need sourdough starter?
Yeah, I'll take it. We tried sourdough.
Okay.
And my husband failed to let it survive.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it'll survive.
That's every sourdough starter ever. I feel like you get into it. I got a loaf sitting in the fridge at home that needs to be baked. Or if I can get into it for a couple months, and then my sourdough starter starts to look like it's rotting.
Oh.
You know? Have you seen it? It dies, like the black.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what yours looks like right now?
Yep.
Yeah. Which, some people on the internet are like, you can bring it back. It's fine. And I'm like,
it takes a lot of
effort.
Do
I want to?
Do I want to? Is the real question. I don't know if I do. It looks disgusting. Yeah, it's like mold. That's how I feel about it.
Did I tell you I have chickens now?
You now have chickens?
I have chickens
When
now.
did you get chickens?
I got them in September from my mother-in-law. I don't have roosters.
I've heard that most people that have chickens do not have roosters, or preferably would not want a rooster.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of meant to boss them around a little.
Yeah.
I think they're the only patriarchal animal kingdom.
Oh, really? Chickens?
Chickens,
They
just
have-
chickens.
They're also living in the patriarchy.
Yes, because the roosters herd them in at night. They make sure they're safe, or
A pleasant patriarchy.
right, or are they just task driven?
And they're loud.
They are loud.
I've heard they're very loud.
They're very loud. So I was like, no roosters. So they're not fertile chicken eggs, but
Okay.
I'm getting chicken eggs now too.
We've had the intrusive thought many times of doing chickens. And all of our animals are the product of intrusive thought. So I just don't think that we need to do that. But we have definitely debated it off and on.
We are getting so many quail eggs now. We don't know what to do with them. So I'll just be like, please take them off of our hands.
Yeah. Have you ever tried quail egg?
I haven't. No, we were at our tax appointment last night though, and our tax person does homesteading as well.
Yeah.
We were asking for tips, and he was saying to start with ducks before chickens.
I've heard that too.
Only if you like to bake.
Bake?
Yeah, duck eggs don't taste as good as chicken eggs.
Really?
Yeah.
So the more you know.
But they're good for baking. They're really good for baking.
Okay.
They just have a weird taste. But apparently that weird taste is great for baking products.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the quail eggs are good. I've heard a lot of people, like, aren't they like high in protein? Like higher in protein than a regular chicken egg.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll go with quails.
They're pretty cute. Whenever
They are.
you send pictures of the quails, they are pretty cute. I feel like there was one more thing related to homesteading that I needed to get off my chest, but I don't remember what it was. Chickens, quails, sourdough.
I finished that book this
Yeah.
morning.
Hmm.
The first 40 days of all about like how to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
Early
postpartum, right?
postpartum through food, and just like the sheer number of ingredients and or like the like all of I feel like I need to start an apothecary now. I've been on like Facebook Marketplace looking for like an apothecary cabinet that I'm like, where can I put this?
What kind of things are you like looking for? What specifically when you're like lots of ingredients, lots of what in the book?
I guess it's just hard to like know where to start. Like we bought some things at the store yesterday to start our own little garden because now is the right time to do some of the peppers, onions, garlic.
Mhm.
We bought a little seed tray, which then we have to upgrade to some kind of back porch.
Greenhouse.
You've got all of the teas that are supposed to be helpful. And I'd love to dry herbs and plant herbs and
You're like going all out.
yeah,
on-
it's
yes.
like, where to start?
Right.
What do you need? How do you learn how to use all of these things?
Totally.
Make your own tinctures.
I even went so far as to make our own lotions.
Ooh. When Charlie was little, I was trying to make breast milk soap. And I did. And that's how it is for a lot of my hobbies. I can say, and I did. I don't still, but I have done that. But we did like the lavender, like breast milk soap. And
Which part of that book, too, I think I was telling you, my intrusive, I want to do that, was like the ceremony or the rituals for like pregnant moms that like mark that initiation threshold or like the, I think they said something about like gathering all of the women who have been through birth experience and have them like pick a flower and then make the flower crown, and like just ways to mark each of the steps through the experience. I was like, that would be so much fun. Or have you seen some of those videos where like I think it's prior to birth, but like the mom lays down in this circle and like they all put their hands on like
I don't
mom's
think so.
belly. I'll have to find the video and send it
Yeah.
to you.
please. Okay, beginning our interview. So my first question for you is what originally led you, or like what has your path been to becoming like a labor and delivery nurse?
Oh, so I'm actually not a labor and delivery nurse.
Okay, what are you?
I'm a postpartum nurse.
Okay, so postpartum, there's a difference.
Yes.
Okay, what is the difference?
So I don't do the labor part or the delivery part. I'm not trained in that at all.
You told me one time you were in the OR, right?
Oh, so I transition babies.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm a postpartum and transition nurse. So I am trained to the postpartum portion. I'm not trained to labor and delivery, but I'm also trained to transition the babies. So at birth, there's always the labor nurse assigned to the mom, and then there's usually going to be a nurse who's going to immediately be responsible for the baby. And even if later during recovery it goes back to the labor nurse, there's usually at least one dedicated for right at birth, because otherwise you're torn in too many directions.
Yeah.
So I'm trained to do that transition where I basically decide or help baby choose life.
I like that.
Because some babies don't. So yeah, I'm there. I'm evaluating, can baby stay skin to skin on mom? Are they doing well enough? Do they need to go to the warmer so we can do interventions?
So how did you land at all of this? How did you land? What's been the path to like
Oh my
postpartum
gosh.
delivery nurse?
My path is crazy.
Yeah, tell us.
So I've been a nurse for 15 years. And I actually became a nurse because I was escaping an emotionally and verbally abusive marriage, and who was preventing me from having a career. And despite the fact that I had career goals. So I was like, I know I'm going to need to become a single mom.
Yeah.
Because I already had 2 kids, and I need a way to take care of them. So I went to nursing school, and nursing was not my original intent, but it made the most sense as a single mom. And I'm actually looking back on it, I'm really glad that I did, because it makes more sense for me than what I had originally planned to do. So my very first job, I graduated in 2010, and that was like 2 years after the stock market crash of 2008.
Yeah.
And I was competing with nurses who had like 30 years of experience going back into the workforce because they lost all of their retirement. So it was really hard to get a job. And so my first job was like literally going around and doing flu shots for this traveling flu shot clinic.
Yeah.
And then I got into pediatric home health, which was not the smartest decision for a brand new nurse. I would not recommend that for a brand new nurse ever. That was dumb.
Why?
It's too much independence
Oh.
for a brand new nurse.
Okay.
Yeah. Like being in the hospital is better, or even a long-term care facility, because you're going to learn from other people. You need to be able to learn from other people and gain those skills. And then I moved on to pediatric psych. And then I started looking at my kids going,
As we all do coming into any psych-related field, we're all looking around at everyone like, oh.
you need help. And then I was like, that's not good. Then I got a job with the Army. It was Tooele Army Depot. Worked as an occupational health nurse out there. And then I met my husband.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
Actually, he helped me get the job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I met him first. But he kind of ruined my career path for a little while.
Like Sunny?
Yeah, for like 10 years, he ruined it because we got stationed in Germany. So I volunteered with the Red Cross. I got my bachelor's degree while I was in Germany. I gave birth to a child in Germany, in a German hospital. Yeah. And that was a wild experience. And then what did I do after that? Oh, I tried long-term care. It is not for me. Long-term care is like a retirement home, like long-term care facility where like they probably have dementia. They probably have some long-term health issues.
Yeah.
Some people call it old folks' homes, you know.
Like end of life kind of care.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, aging care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a job doing med surg, finally.
What's med surg?
It's the medical and surgical unit on any hospital. So if you're there for any medical reason, any surgical reason, that's where you go. Unless you're more critical, of course. But regular, you're doing okay. You're on med surg. I learned a ton. I did that for 3 years. And then we moved to Alaska. And I did nothing for COVID.
Did you like pause? Did
Yeah.
you kind of like
I
mean,
intentionally paused.
Yeah.
I had a 6-month-old baby.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm not putting my family at risk.
Was
I
that
didn't-
scary? Like when that all started to come to fruition, like working in the hospitals or working in just medical?
Okay, you want to hear something crazy?
Always. That's why I'm a therapist. Yes.
We literally started our drive to Alaska the day it was declared a pandemic.
Oh, whoa.
So I was already out of the hospital setting because I quit my job in Texas and because we were moving.
Yeah.
And so I was already out of the hospital setting. And then with nursing, you have to transfer your license to the new state that you're in.
Okay.
You probably get that.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so we moved to Alaska and I was like, do I want to get my license right now? Not really.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have to work in or during COVID at all. Yeah.
It was unpredictable
Mm-hmm.
during that time. I was thinking on COVID the other day, like, what a time.
Yeah. And I feel there's like this slight guilt because I wasn't there for my fellow nurses because they were under so much strain. But at the same time, I'm also like, but I got to look out for my family. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so many people ended up not even being able to go home.
I remember hearing stories about that.
I don't think that was the situation in Alaska, but I'm still like,
Totally.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm useless to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you ended up in Alaska for
Yep.
COVID. And then what?
Then when things started kind of calming down a little bit, I thought, okay, maybe I should do something to like maintain my license. So I got a job doing the COVID vaccine administration. From there, I started teaching.
Okay.
I started teaching at one of the nursing schools. I was an adjunct instructor, so I did clinical site instructions. And then sometimes I would like substitute for the teacher. And yeah, it was great. And then I realized during that time, I can teach everything except OB.
Mm.
Yeah. So then I was like, that's the one, that's the missing piece.
You're like, sign me up.
So then the hospital was having a big hiring event. All of the hospitals there, like they have these big hiring events. And so nurses can come and, do interviews and give your resume and blah, blah, blah. And
In
I went-
Alaska, right?
Yep.
Okay. Mhm.
And so I did one hospital and I was like, I only want to learn OB. And they were like, you'd have to get hired on med surg and then you could become an internal hire. And I was like, nope, I've done my time.
Yeah.
No thanks. So then I went to a different hospital's hiring event and they were like, yes, you're hired. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
okay. So that's how it got started.
Yeah.
That's a long road.
That is. That is a long
A
road.
lot of experience.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I juggle that and teaching again. And then I also do occupational health again.
Yep.
They're not all full time, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm not working 3 full-time jobs. That would be insane.
Out of all the things that you have experience in around nursing, what has been your favorite?
Postpartum.
Postpartum?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So your favorite being postpartum. Why? Like, was there a moment that clicked for you where you were, because that was like the last thing that you didn't have experience in.
Yeah.
So when you started, was there like a moment for you that you were like, oh, this is what I'm passionate about, or this is what I want to be doing?
Yeah, actually, I had this patient in Alaska, and I have to be careful because I don't want to like
Totally.
HIPAA.
Yep,
but
I get that. You speak very generally.
yeah, she had gone to an ER. She was worried about what was going on. She had been sent home and told you're fine. And she was like, no, I'm not fine. And so she came to our hospital and things were not fine. And she ended up in an emergency C-section.
Wow.
Yeah. And afterwards, that whole experience for her was so traumatic and she was just trying to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I was like, you don't have to be strong for this. It's okay. What you went through was not okay. And it's okay to not be okay with that. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to grieve the birth experience that you had been dreaming about for 9 months. And the part that really got to her was she was supposed to take off her dressing, and she couldn't do it. And so she asked me to do it for her. And that's when we really had this heart-to-heart moment about everything. And she finally cried and just dumped everything on me. And I was just like, this is what I'm meant to do.
I would agree. As I'm getting emotional.
I know, I'm
over
so
here.
sorry. You're going to make me cry.
I know. I'm like, we're going to have tissues on deck during this conversation.
This morning, I was like, why did she agree to go to a thing afterwards? Because she's going to be all like swollen eyes.
I mean, I cry all the time. It's just my life. Yeah. Okay. So that was when it like clicked for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Because I have had my own birth experiences where I was like, you know what? That wasn't okay. Like that, my second, the nurse didn't even think I was in labor.
Oh, wow.
She was convinced I had a UTI, was forcing me to drink water. I literally couldn't pee.
Oh, my God.
Because your bladder at some point just like kind of shuts down.
Uh-huh. Like in labor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
During transition,
Yeah.
when you're about to push a baby out,
Mm-hmm.
it like your bladder basically is like, oh, we're not working.
Yeah.
Because
We're offline. Not our turn to come out right now.
Yeah. And so I couldn't give her a urine sample.
Yeah.
And she kept pushing more and more water on me, and I kept trying to pee, and I'd get like these drops.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. And then finally I was walking out of the bathroom after trying to give her a sample, and I was like, I need to push. And she goes, no, you don't. And I
Wow.
said, then I need to poop really bad, but something needs to come out of me right now. And she finally checked me for the first time to see if I was even dilated.
Wow.
And she was
Wow.
like, oh, you're about to have a baby. And I was like, you think?
Yeah.
And the whole reason why is because my contractions were not stopping. And she put the monitors on me, and it wasn't picking up contractions. She was feeling my belly. She couldn't feel any difference. And I'm like, it's contracting. I could barely breathe. I could barely speak. And like I kept having my now ex try to answer questions for me because I couldn't answer because I was in pain.
Because you were in labor.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so and then afterwards, I think she felt guilty because I think she bought me a milkshake
Oh, wow.
from the cafeteria.
Yes. She's like, here you go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So like
Oh, God.
that was a crappy birth experience.
Yeah.
You know? And then on top of that one, I hired a midwife for a reason.
Mhm.
And I didn't want another episiotomy. And I was like, his head wasn't really progressing. And this was back in the day when episiotomies were very much a thing. And now people avoid them.
Yeah.
But she was like, well, I think if he doesn't make progress, we're going to have to do an episiotomy. And I was like, well, hold on, let me try changing positions. Basically, she was like, I think we're going to have to do an episiotomy. And I was like, let me try changing positions. And she goes, stop moving. I have scissors. And so I didn't get a choice. And I really feel like if I had been able to change positions, he would have come out,
Wow.
you know, without an episiotomy. But
Yeah. That's wild.
I know.
And you said you chose a midwife for a reason.
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't want an episiotomy. I felt like my first birth experience, like he broke my water,
Yeah.
and I don't think that was the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I labored an incredibly long amount of time. I eventually ended up with an epidural. I couldn't feel the need to push at all. And so I wasn't pushing well at all.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with forceps, and then I ended up with a hematoma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, why don't go that route again?
Yeah.
I want a better birth experience.
I didn't even realize at the beginning of like when I was first pregnant with Charlie that there was a difference between a midwife and an OB, and I didn't know what a doula was. Like I didn't know, but you see an OB, right? You like your OB.
Yeah.
When I was pregnant with Charlie, I actually switched care at, I think I was 32 weeks to a midwife. I was seeing an OB and I was just like, something's not feeling right about this for me. And I switched care at like 32 weeks to a midwife, to Michelle Grepp. And with Charlie, I loved my experience with her. I mean, she was present for Grayson, right? But she was just kind of, what would she be if the OB is doing the surgery and she's just like attending? She was just there like assisting, I think. I don't know what it's called. Yeah. Crazy.
And even with my very first one, there was this one OB who was highly recommended. And I went to go see him. He could not remember anything about my chart. He literally helped me unbutton my pants to do my ultrasound.
Okay. That's a little bit of a boundary violation.
And he couldn't remember that I'd already had a pap smear, so I didn't need one. And every visit he kept saying, "Oh, we need to do your pap smear." And I was like, "No, we don't. Like, I already had one a couple months ago." And he's like, "Oh, that's right."
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, so I switched.
Is he still practicing? Is he still out there?
I have no idea.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I just really think that it's hard to have any birth experience without some kind of disappointment.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Or event that you're just like slightly traumatized by.
So it sounds like part of what had you feeling connected to working with postpartum is the emotional piece and was supporting that particular patient around the disappointment and the trauma. Where did you learn that is important and to give that emotional support? Because I don't think that every nurse is well informed on that piece. And I think you and I talk on the podcast all the time about tending to the emotional piece of motherhood, right? I don't know that that's necessarily always present in a hospital setting.
Yeah.
So, like, where did you learn that that was important?
I honestly think it was from my own birth experiences. Mm-hmm. I would love to say that somebody taught me, but I just think it was from my own constant journey of emotional healing and then reflecting on my own birth experiences and thinking about the fact that like it's just not talked about. It's just not addressed. And you know what? Maybe give a little credit. I think there was that TikToker. I can't think of her name. She's a labor nurse.
Jen Hamilton.
Yes, Jen Hamilton. I think I had seen a couple of her videos where she talked about it a little bit. And I thought, and I think she had basically talked about the fact that it's just not really talked about.
Which is so, we're therapists and we've both done the postpartum mental health training. I don't get that. I just don't get how, like, in every setting, we're not informing people who are working with new moms or people who are postpartum about the emotional piece or the transitional piece of or just the trauma-informed piece of it all, you know? Like,
which, and it's so prevalent too. I mean, out of the three of us in this room, sounds like we've all had some aspect of our experience that was not
right.
You know,
what exactly we hoped for or what we cared for.
So if everyone, not everyone, but if a lot of people have this experience, then, and it's just not, there's no change about it or there's no reverence for it. The book that I just finished this morning talked a lot about like, you know, having other women who have been through that experience help you through that experience. And I think that's a beautiful thing to have, because how do you know what you're going to go through? Like in prepping for this next birth, I'm like, there's so much I wish I'd known the first time.
Yeah.
That I just plainly didn't.
That's why I'm trying, being the key word here, to make more videos. Right now it's on TikTok talking about postpartum, like basically what to prepare for. And I'm just going to use your podcast right now. Please don't go in with expectations of your birth. Be open-minded. Birth plan is almost a guaranteed ticket to a C-section. Don't do it. Be flexible. Have things that you would like to have happen. Obviously, you can definitely do that. But if you come in with this like 3-page birth plan, every nurse is going, she's going to end up with a C-section.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Mhm.
That almost kind of sounds like what we did at the beginning of the year, like the vision board versus the goals for the year, maybe.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
setting the mood or the vibe for the intention of the
yeah, like
experience, then
yeah.
things you want to happen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I almost feel like the universe, if you walk in with this, my birth is going to go this way and I want these and these, the universe goes, hold my beer. No,
Yeah.
that's what I feel. And it's like, why, universe?
I know.
I'm a giver of life. Could you respect that just a little bit?
Absolutely.
But it doesn't. It never does.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Wild.
it is. It's like, I don't know if it's karma or the universe or what, but it's like, oh no. But also, I think, I don't know. I think the hospital is also they're just so afraid of liability too. They err on the side of caution when it comes to birth.
Right. Okay, this is not anything that I intended on asking you, but it did. You talking about the 3-page birth plan and all the nurses being like, she's going to end up with a C-section. There's a lot of superstitions that I picked up on when I was in the hospital.
Yes.
Like,
We are very superstitious people.
yeah, I remember, okay, so when I was first admitted, I remember someone was like, I kept hearing the term ward off the spirits.
Ward off the juju.
Ward off the juju, and someone said like we're gonna keep the C-section paperwork over here just to like ward off the spirits, or like there's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting.
I don't know, because like it's not like they all have kind of the similar spiritual beliefs or anything.
Yeah, totally.
But at the same time, like we do talk like we do.
And after my luxurious 8-day stay, I was just like, everyone here, I'm hearing ward off the spirit over here, ward off that spirit, like all the time.
Especially like the hemorrhage cart. If anybody's starting to look like they could, or if they have high risk factors for hemorrhaging, we'll put the hemorrhage cart outside the door to ward off any bad juju.
That's so fun. It feels very like ritual.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love. Like, especially in the hospital setting, that like some of that is happening, because it does feel kind of like spiritual.
And do you know how many times we've said, oh, we need to sage you?
Really?
You've had bad luck. We need to sage you.
Does anyone ever bring the sage?
I offer all the time. I have this sage spray.
Yeah.
And I offer all the time. And they're like, then it'll smell like people are doing drugs in here.
I love sage. I got sage over there.
I know.
That's funny.
I know. They did actually sage one person, and
Uh-huh.
it jumped from one person to another.
What did?
The bad luck, the series of bad luck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
We'll have a nurse who's had a series of bad births.
Yeah.
And she's, I'm done. When's it somebody else's turn?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost too bad we can't warn the patients. Hey, just so you know, your nurse has had a series of bad things. I want to ask for a different nurse.
Oh my gosh. My anxious ass would be like, get her out of here. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember hearing that all the time, like, ward off the spirits, ward off the spirits. I don't know that they were warded off in my case.
They were not.
They were not. Okay. Let me ask you, what do you notice changes in a mother when she does feel emotionally supported?
Wow. You know what? She is less tired, right? I'm going to dig on dads. Okay.
It's fine.
A lot of dads are useless. I almost wish that mothers or mother-in-laws would be the ones to stay the night. Although sometimes I've seen a couple that do stay the night and you're like, you weren't any better.
Sure.
Not often though. But like she's going to feel, I don't know, I think she's able to bond with the baby better. I think that she's a lot more confident because she knows she's not doing it by herself.
Yeah.
And you know what? That actually really kind of gives me my own aha moment, because with my first, it was a rough recovery. And I remember crying, being like, I'm not ready to take this baby home. I can't believe they're letting me do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to leave the hospital. And I knew my mom wasn't going to be there for a little while. I think I started realizing that I had made a huge mistake in who I chose as a life partner. One of the things that I do when I'm discharging my patients, when I'm doing my discharge teaching, because I went through this with both of my partners, like I just started hating them. I was like, what is wrong with me that I am hating this person that I chose to bring a life into this world with? And then, especially after the second, my husband now, doing it with him, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm the one who's broken, because I thought that this was a much better partner.
Yeah.
So when I'm discharging my patients, I will say to them, so you're the dad, you're the mom. Say, just remember, he's not the enemy. The baby's the enemy. Okay? Team up together and conquer against the enemy.
Yeah.
Because when that baby moves out, you're stuck with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And because I feel like it kind of introduces the fact that you might feel this way. You might feel unsupported by this person. You may feel like it's unequal in the care or whatever. And what you're feeling is normal.
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually comes across when I'm telling people this, but I try to tell it to everybody, because I feel like at some point, and maybe I'm projecting, but I feel like at some point they're going to feel that stress and frustration with their partner and feel unsupported.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny, because here in Utah, family is a big thing. And sometimes it stresses me out as the nurse, because I'm like, you guys, let her sleep. Let her rest. This is her time to bond with that baby and rest.
Absolutely.
Why are there so many visitors?
Yes.
But at the same time, I also have to remember, this is their support system. Hopefully this is their support system.
And hopefully they're there to support the mom.
Yeah.
Not just see the baby. Because I know that in my experience with therapy for new moms, there's a lot of disappointment around the way as to which family did not show up, but showed up.
Yes. If I do see a lot of visitors, I will tell them, make people earn the right to hold that baby first.
I love that.
Make them do something for you before they get the right to hold that baby. Because sitting there and holding that baby isn't doing you any good.
It's true. Yeah.
Make them sweep the floor. Make them do a load of dishes. Make them do a load of laundry. Make them do something, or even just, hey, I'm going to go take a nap for an hour. Can you take that baby? Because 2-hour stretches between feeds is not enough.
No.
Children are a form of torture.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard when there's no community. You saying sometimes you wish that the mother-in-law would come stay instead of the husband. I think that comes back to the importance of being surrounded by other women who know.
Who get it.
Who know what you're going through. I think Tori in both experiences, and I think particularly because I had a doula. The first time my doula had the same doula both times, but she obviously couldn't be the same kind of presence as she was the second time around. She was very helpful in getting Tori to know what to do to help support me during my birth, right?
Yeah.
And even with Grayson, she came and just stayed with me the day after, which God bless her, because she's also a nurse and she's going to school to be a midwife. So the fact that she came to just she just sat with me. I think she stayed until 2 a.m. the day I don't remember. Maybe it was the day that Grayson was born. I don't know. It's all a blur. But like just having her there was so, I don't know. I feel like sometimes women, of course we want dad to be there, but I just feel like women being present and surrounding the mother with their presence and that support is so needed and it's nurturing.
Yes.
In a way that I don't know that men can be.
Yes.
Not that they're not, but they don't know. They
Yeah.
just don't. And Tori's told me so many times that how he feels helpless because he just doesn't know.
At least he's verbalizing it.
Yeah.
I feel like most men don't verbalize
That's
it.
true.
They're just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I do love that men are there to appreciate what their wife went through or their partner went through. But I feel like there is sometimes that block where they're just like, I don't get it, so I'm not going to try.
Yeah.
And what drives me nuts is, and I have been known to say this to dads, which is probably not appropriate, but when they're like sleeping hard or they're like, I'm so tired. I'm like, yeah, it must have been really hard giving birth, huh?
I love that. Yes.
Probably
Because
if my work found out, they'd probably fire me.
But it's true. What has working in birth taught you about women and their strength?
Oh, women are incredible. I don't know. Sometimes some of these women, they get up after having a surgery, a major abdominal surgery, and they're walking around like nothing happened. And you're like, I know that you are terrified that your guts are just going to fall out.
Yeah.
I know that is in the back of your mind. And some women, I've had women who've had a 4th-degree tear, which goes all the way to the rectum.
Wow.
And they're walking around like nothing. Women are incredible. But I love and I also can't stand the women who culturally, they are meant to like not tolerate any pain at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on. But also at the same time, I'm like, I get it.
Totally.
Sometimes I play it up too when I'm sick. I get the man cold sometimes.
Sometimes I fantasize about getting sick so I can just lay in my bed. I'm like, I just want to lay here, like, unbothered.
Right? There are some cultures, and this is actually probably more fascinating to me, is how many culture, like how birth is treated in different cultures. And there are so many countries where you are not expected to do anything. There are some cultures where you're not even supposed to walk.
Yeah. I heard something recently. This is what I was talking to you about like you stay in bed for a week, then you don't leave the room for a week, and everyone brings you your meals. It's some kind of like 3-week something that I've recently been hearing about.
Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They have that. Like I had a patient who was Vietnamese recently, and actually 2. And both of them ended up with a C-section. And so here's the tough thing about C-sections. When you have had a C-section, you need to be up and walking as soon as possible.
And now you were really up in my room, like, you gotta come walk around this bucket.
I know.
And I was still sick, and we didn't really quite know. At least I didn't quite know.
Yeah. I was like, if you don't, that gas pain is going to build up.
I didn't get any.
Thank goodness.
Not yet.
Thank goodness. But you also don't remember a lot of things.
It's true.
Yeah. So you may have been up and moving more than you remember. It actually made me laugh because she was telling me, I think it was the second time I had you as a patient. She was like, yeah, this one nurse, she made me get up and made me go see my baby.
I remembered that was you. Didn't?
No, you did not. You were telling me about the nurse who made you get up and go see your baby.
You know what? I think that you're right, but I think when you told me that was me.
I didn't tell you for a long time.
Did you not?
No. I was just like, she was like, yeah, she made me get up and go see my baby. And I was like, good for her.
But I just know, I know that the second time I had you, Tori told you when you left the room, when he was like, she cried as soon as you came back in. Because we'll get there. I'll put a pin in it for now.
But yeah, there was a lot of things you don't remember.
Back to C-sections and walking around.
Yeah, I love it. There are some cultures where you're not supposed to do anything. And I'm like, how did America get so screwed?
Don't even get me.
We've talked about
We can do a whole
this.
other
Like,
podcast episode about that. We talk about it all the time.
And the weirdest thing. So I told you that I gave birth to my third in Germany.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't even do fundal rubs afterwards. Like, I think they might have done it the first couple hours. And then after that, they just didn't. And so since it was my third, and I'd already had 2 babies, so I kind of knew. Plus, I was already a nurse. And so I'm like in the shower doing my own fundal massages. I'm like, I don't remember how they do it, but I remember it basically felt like I was getting punched in the stomach.
Yes.
So I'm like trying to be tender, but also rough. And I had a huge clot come out. Huge. So I went and I got the nurses and I was like, hey, like this just came out. And they're like, oh, it's fine. And I'm like, is it?
Yeah, totally.
Is it fine? This doesn't feel fine.
Uh-huh.
In America, this would not be fine.
Yeah.
And we have the highest mortality rate. We have the most interventions and the highest mortality rate.
well, something you were saying earlier too was just that like hospitals tend to be
Overly cautious.
because of liability, but then at the same time also denying like a woman's intuition about what's wrong.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Right. Like, why are women in what we feel like your first patient that you, or like the patient that you really felt like it clicked for you?
Yeah.
And even you, and in your story, right? Like
Yeah.
with your second, like, why are we bypassing a woman's own intuition about what's going on within her own body?
We should
Yeah.
believe her.
We should believe her.
I try to do that all the time. If somebody's like, hey, I feel like something's wrong, can you please come check it? I don't ever go, oh, you're fine. I will walk through everything. I
Yeah.
will tell them, okay, I'm checking this, I'm checking that. So far, everything looks normal, but keep an eye on it. I don't ever say, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I always say, just keep an eye on it. If it gets worse or nothing changes, we'll look into it again.
Yeah. This makes me think of with Charlie, with my first. So I also had preeclampsia with her. And they, whether, I don't believe it definitely wasn't as soon that it became an issue, right? It was at I think 37 weeks that the protein spiked and everything. And Michelle was like, we need to have you come tomorrow morning to start your induction. And, it was great. I didn't really know what preeclampsia was. I just knew I had a lot of friends who have also had it. So I was like, not really stressed, not worried, ready to get the baby out. Wasn't really worried throughout my labor. Didn't understand postpartum preeclampsia. So with Charlie, I did stabilize after 2 days. And they sent me home. But my blood pressure was still kind of scooting around a little bit, up to 130s, which isn't necessarily super high, right? But I went home, and the night we were discharged, I went to the bathroom and had a huge, probably that big of a clot come out, and I just got stressed. And in my stress, I was taking my blood pressure, which obviously I'm a little stressed. My blood pressure is going to be spiking. But I started to get really blurry vision, and my blood pressure was 160/90. I told Tori, I think we need to go back to the hospital because I called, and one of the doctors was like, no, she was like, no, you just came home. I felt like it was minimized. So I did go to the emergency room. And the emergency room, they hooked me up. My blood pressure was high. It stabilized in the time that we were there. And then he was like, yeah, no, I just spoke to so-and-so, the other OB that I had talked to on the phone. And he was like, you just gave birth. I think you're fine. But now that I know what I know, part of me questions if I shouldn't have been admitted that night.
Yeah.
The fact that my blood pressure, especially how severe it was this second time, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if I would have gone up to labor and delivery, if I would have gone back, they may have admitted me.
Yeah.
Something was wrong that night. And it turned out fine. But I don't know. intuition. Something I really feel like it was again, and fortunately, it seemed to have just worked itself out.
I just had a patient who was coming back just to visit their baby who was still at the hospital.
Yeah.
And she said, I've been having some gushes. And is that okay? And I asked her the normal questions. Are you soaking a pad in an hour? She's like, not really, but it's really big gushes. It's like almost. And one of the OBs met her in the elevator. She showed her pictures of the pads. And she's like, oh, I think you're fine. I had talked to the nurse who was escorting her down. And I was like, I don't think this is okay.
Thank you so much for joining us in today's conversation. We hope this space offered you a spark of meaning, a reminder of your own strength, or simply the comfort of knowing you're not alone in the messy middle of becoming.
If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to share it with a friend, subscribe, or leave us a review. It helps this little community grow.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Heart on the Table Pod, where we share more reflections, tarot pulls, and behind-the-scenes glimpses of the podcast.
Until next time, may you keep noticing the magic woven into your everyday life.
Please remember, while we are both licensed clinicians, this podcast is not therapy and does not create a therapeutic relationship. The conversation's here for educational and reflective purposes only. If you are seeking mental health support, we encourage you to connect with a licensed provider in your area. Thanks for listening.